So Naughty Dog recently put out The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and being a Last of Us fanboy that I am, I forked over that $10 for the upgrade gladly. But is the remaster really worth it? Well, I can't really say because there's no definitive answer to that question, but what I can do is share some of my thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Now, as to be expected, a lot of people aren't happy that this remaster exists, arguing that there has been an abundance of Last of Us remakes and remasters, which just simply isn't true. A case can definitely be made for The Last of Us Part 1, but that's about it. It's no secret at this point that Naughty Dog games usually have remakes or remasters. They like for people to be able to play the best versions of their games possible. Except for Jak and Daxter, of course. They aren't ever bringing that series back, are they?
Don't count on it! Oh!
But the point is that this move makes sense for Naughty Dog. But is it good? Yeah, I personally think that it is. So first things first, one of the most obvious things one would look for in a remaster are graphical improvements. And there are some here. Let's be real, The Last of Us 2 looked great when it came out, and it looks great now. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that I played that thing for the first time on a base model PS4. It's safe to say that my console was about to take off every time I played. One-way trip, baby. But this version of the game takes advantage of the PS5 and offers slightly enhanced graphics. I don't have a crazy display or anything. I play on a Samsung QLED TV, which is the poor man's OLED, I know, but my game still be looking pretty crisp on that thing, and The Last of Us 2 is no exception. Instead of just being able to choose between 30 frames and 60 frames like after the PS5 patch, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered now offers a proper fidelity mode and performance mode like that of most games on current gen hardware. I mostly played on fidelity mode because I'm a filthy fidelity mode gamer, that's my preference, but I do like performance more for some games, like Death Stranding Director's Cut looks so much better on performance to me, but 9 times out of 10 I'm picking fidelity. But like I said before, the game looked good then and it looks good now, so what else does this remaster have to offer? Well, believe it or not, Naughty Dog actually did add some new content to the game, such as new skins and bonuses, improved accessibility options more akin to that of The Last of Us Part 1, as well as the ability to view cutscenes from the main menu, which is such a minor thing that I feel like most people wouldn't care about, but I personally really liked this inclusion in The Last of Us Part 1, and I'm glad it's here also. One of the main things I was looking forward to with this remaster was the lost levels, which are kind of like playable developer diaries of unfinished levels that were ultimately cut from the final game. There are only 3 of these little slices in the remaster and they're not very long at all, but man are they awesome. They all start with Neil Druckmann himself giving a little bit of an introduction and overview of the level and explaining a little bit about it. But most of the insight you get comes in the form of short developer narration scattered throughout the levels that give players a peek inside the creative processes of crafting The Last of Us Part 2's gameplay sections and why certain things were ultimately cut from the game. It's really interesting and gives you a deeper understanding and appreciation for what goes into making the games that we enjoy experiencing so much.
The ladder acts as an immediate goal for the player, but being able to climb out is not going to be so easy. To keep levels interesting and engaging, we alternate between positive and negative values the player experiences. Here, it's a positive to have found a ladder, but then a negative to discover it's not the solution. But then another positive to identify the next short-term goal of the doorway. By alternating between these opposing values, we give players what they expect, but not how they expect it.
While all that's great, I think it's safe to say that the main attraction of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for most is yeah, so no factions, but they gave us something at least, right? Right? But in all seriousness, I actually think that No Return is pretty cool. I initially wasn't interested in it because the high intensity combat of The Last of Us can be kind of stressful for me sometimes, but when I decided I wanted to make this video, I figured I'd be doing a disservice by not at least touching it. And I must say, I'm glad that I did. Now I'm going to be completely honest and tell you that I'm generally not very good at video games. I love playing video games, but when it comes to pure skill and capability and IQ, I'm pretty average. And while I've played The Last of Us 2 on Grounded and I did a permadeath playthrough, I was still kind of intimidated by this new mode. But once I got into it, I realized just how much fun No Return can be. It has a roguelike formula that involves you playing through various game modes, taking out waves of enemies, and trying to endure and survive as long as you possibly can. After each match, you're graded on your performance, and then you return to your hideout where you can use the materials and supplements you earned to purchase items and upgrade your weapons and character to hopefully make things easier for you as you move forward. You also unlock more characters and skins when you complete challenges, but as of right now I've only unlocked Janina because I haven't gotten a chance to really dive deep into it. Now, my experience with No Return was on normal difficulty, but I still think it posed a decent challenge. This game can be very humbling sometimes, and there were points in the beginning where I was really getting my cheeks handed to me. But at the same time, actually managing to fight your way to the end of a difficult encounter and achieving victory can be very gratifying. So, there you have it. Those are some of my thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. I've enjoyed my time with the game, but now I want to hear from you guys. Do you like the content that's been added? Do you think the remaster is pointless? Do you hate Naughty Dog now? I'm curious to know what you guys think, no matter what it is. But that's all from me. I'll see you guys in the next one.